Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Ballabha Srivaradhari Gopi Janna Ballabha Srivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Vrajana Nandana Yashoda Nandana Vrajana Nandana Yamuna Tira Vandachari Yamuna Tira Vandachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Ballabha Srivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Vrajana Nandana Yamuna Tira Vandachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So today we read from Srila Prabhupada Nectar book. If anyone is following in the book, it would be on page 252. So this section is called Letters from Disciples. Anyway, this is a letter from some disciple. I'm beginning to understand that anything in connection with Srila Prabhupada is truly nectarian. It is his causeless mercy that I have finally found a preaching engagement I'm really attached to, that is, telling other devotees about the glorious activities of our beloved spiritual master. Every word spoken and step taken by him is a source of pleasure for thousands of devotees around the world. It is Srila Prabhupada alone who can turn wretched lives into something worthwhile. He accepts the most insignificant service as a great deal. In another letter, another part of this letter, I'm not sure. While engaging and talking about New Vrindavan during Prabhupada's massage yesterday, I mentioned how we used to do cow artis. At that point, Prabhupada frowned. I asked if they were okay to do, and he said no. I asked if there was anything special to do for the cows. He said, keep them clean, brush them nicely, bathe them, and also you can polish their horns and hooves. Another paragraph. Prabhupada also received your sandwich yesterday, and I put 2 on his plate last night at his request, along with pineapple and hot milk. He bit into one and said, Kirtanananda Maharaj made first-class sandwich. He then said, how sandwich and rasgulla are called Bengali sweets, and how they are standard. He has been criticizing LA's making of concocted sweets. Sweets with puffed rice, carob, powdered milk, food coloring, peanut butter, in different combinations. And he did not care for this. He said, I have given you sandwich and rasgulla and sweet balls. These are standard sweets and are very good. Why do you go to these different things? So last night I made cheese and turned it into sandwich this morning. I gave him one of the sandwich you had made and one I had made with his lunch. He ate both. When he was finished, I asked him how the sandwich was. His face lit up and he said, did you make them? I told him that I had done, I told him what I had done, and he said they were very good. I'm really happy because they are one of his favorite sweets. This was a letter written by Srila Kirti to Kirtanananda Swami. Another paragraph, another letter. Here in Madras, we are seated in Srila Prabhupada's room, and His Divine Grace had just made an inspiring plea for Krishna consciousness. When a clean-cut European in his 20s exclaimed, yes, and then we can make more loving and less angry. His Divine Grace replied, what is wrong with getting angry? The boy was startled and stammered, well, if we are angry, it is hard to have peace of mind. Prabhupada interrupted and said, anyway, that is some speculation. Even Krishna himself gets angry. We are part and parcel of Krishna, and the fact is that Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita to make Arjuna angry. Arjuna was not angry when he should have been. The whole Gita was spoken just to make Arjuna angry, so he would fight. Similarly, lust, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that Kama, according to Dharma, I am that lust. That was a letter written by Giriraj Swami to Uddhava. Next section. So it seems that Srila Prabhupada was especially favored sweets, the original, sandwich, rasgullas, and the traditional sweets. I personally started to learn back then how to make sandwich and rasgullas. We didn't used to offer them as a part of the milk sweets in the morning. But before I came, it was just I think it was just sweet rice. And I heard that Srila Prabhupada likes sandwich and rasgullas, so I learned how to make them. And we added that to our milk sweet offering and gradually increased after that. And Srila Prabhupada liked some sandwich that I made for him one time too. So number 6, Srila Prabhupada said on farming, on the subject of farming. So take more land and take more land and engage them in agriculture, plowing by the bulls instead of the tractor. Bulls can be engaged in plowing and transporting. Nice bullock carts, village to village, for preaching. Make the farm and the center, make the farm the center, and go 10 miles this side, 10 miles that side, 10 miles this side, etc. With 4 bullock carts, sell books and preach and live peacefully at the farm. People used to engage the bull for this purpose, so there's no problem which ways to utilize it. First of all, the artificial way should be stopped, and the bulls should be engaged in plowing and transporting and smashing the grains. To avoid machinery, petrol, machine oil, by nature's way. Another letter. Regarding the New Orleans farm, do not make sugar. Just do not make sugar. Just boil it and make molasses. You can eat the molasses instead of sugar. Just boil it and keep it until granule forms, and then keep it in a pot. Don't try to make sugar and sell it. That will simply increase botheration. We also had when our temple was in another location, we had some sugar cane that we grew a little bit of sugar cane, and we had a sugar cane juicer, a big one. It was run by a tractor. Actually, it was running the thing, and so we got so much sugar cane juice, and we had these big 90-gallon pots. Not pots, they're like walks outside. We had 3 of them, and we boiled down the sugar cane juice until it was, it's called cane syrup. We're probably referring to it here as molasses, but I'm not sure the difference. But we boiled it down, and we were using that for sweetening certain things. Yeah. Yes, good. If our householders cannot distribute books, then let them live on the farm communities. They can produce thread or cloth, spinning, and other activities. But they must do something, not sit idly, for the idle brain is the devil's workshop. Yes. There's a letter, April 12th, 1977. Another letter. Our cows are happy, therefore they give plenty of milk. Vedic civilization gives protection to all living creatures, especially the cows, because they rendered such valuable service to the human society in the shape of milk, without which no one can become healthy and strong. In your country, the dog is protected and the cow is killed. The dog is passing stool and urine in the street, and he's considered the best friend. And the cow is all pure, stool, urine, and milk. But they are taken to the slaughterhouse and killed for food. What kind of civilization is this? Therefore, you have to preach against all this nonsense. There's a letter, December 7th, 1975. Another letter. You can visit our farm projects in New Vrindavan and the farm in Port Royal, Pennsylvania. They do everything very nicely, and you can develop your farm on their model. that you are growing all your grains is very good. It is my ambition that all devotees remain self-independent and producing vegetables, grains, milk, fruits, flowers, and by weaving their own cloth on hand looms. The simple life is very nice. Simple village life saves time for other engagements like chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Another letter. When I was in Frankfurt, round our place, I was happy to see the farms and the cows. Unfortunately, they will kill the cows. So if we organize a farm without killing any cows, that will be a great example in that country. Instead of killing cows, if we let them live, we will get so many nutritional foodstuffs filled with vitamins. I have seen in New Vrindavan how happily our devotees are living there with free air, fresh vegetables, and ample milk, and simple living cottage. What you want more. We should not neglect the upkeep of the body, and we should save time to chant Hare Krishna. This mission should be propagated. Save time and chant Hare Krishna. The letter of September 7th, 1974. Number 7, Srila Prabhupada tells a story. One time in India, while Srila Prabhupada was staying in Mayapur, two of Srila Prabhupada's Western-born sannyasis visited a temple and heard an odd comment from a pujari. While Srila Prabhupada's men were taking darshan of the deities, the pujari seemed to appreciate their reverence and demeanor. Quote, continue to render devotional service, end quote. The pujari, Brahma, advised them, and maybe in your next lifetime you will be born as a Brahmana. End quote. Disciples later went to Srila Prabhupada and told him of the incident. Prabhupada smiled and told a story. Once there was an old lady who lived in a remote village. One day, the British district magistrate visited her town. The old lady had been entangled in a quarrel regarding possession of land, which some of her relatives were trying to take from her. Friends advised that she see the magistrate and present the matter to him for settlement. When she did so, the magistrate immediately ruled in her favor and made sure the land was put in her name. Delighted, the old lady attempted to bless the magistrate. I bless you, she said, that in your next lifetime you will become a police constable. In the old lady's mind, Srila Prabhupada explained, the office of police constable was the highest thing she could imagine. Similarly, said Srila Prabhupada, these caste brahmanas do not know that pure devotional service is much higher than being born as a brahmana. Interesting. Number 8, personal. It's changing his ways and staying the same. Some devotees have analyzed that during Srila Prabhupada's years with ISKCON, 1966 to 1977, he passed through 3 stages. A A first phase was when Srila Prabhupada was the only responsible preacher or devotee, and everyone turned to him as the sole spiritual guide with no intermediary. This was the way Srila Prabhupada appeared to the devotees in the first New York temple and in the temple in San Francisco. As Swamiji, he was lenient. He always seemed to have plenty of time to talk with anyone, and he only gradually requested his disciples to follow the rules and regulations. He was trying to get a movement started after a year in America, during which time no one had come forward. So if his disciples left him alone to clean his own apartment or they shared his bathroom, he tolerated it. During this time, his dress was also distinct in certain ways from latter. He did not wear kurtas, but a chadar over his bare chest, or he wore an inexpensive turtleneck jersey that had been supplied by his followers. He rode with them on the buses and subways and trains. He didn't travel very widely, but stayed in each center for months at a time. This changed during the period when the movement grew quickly. From 1969 all the way to 1975, Srila Prabhupada, by his own empowered endeavors, became a world leader of major religion. It was a time of tremendous exertion for him. He revitalized India with Krishna conscious preaching, personally traveling widely here and managing the construction of major temples. He also regularly made worldwide tours. As he initiated hundreds and thousands of disciples, he was not quite so accessible to the individual disciples as he had been in earlier days. Now, by his arrangement, his leaders, especially the temple presidents, sannyasis, and his GBC, handled more of the affairs, although the final decisions and the burden for everything always rested with him. The third phase was his gradual withdrawal from more intense participation in management. In one sense, the second phase of his full participation in the expansion of ISKCON also continued, but it is true that Srila Prabhupada began to allow his GBC representatives to take over more and more. At least that was his desire. He expressed that he wanted to spend more time writing. He began to stay longer in India, where he seemed to feel more at home, and when he did make yearly tours to America and the West, he didn't become much involved in the management of the temples, but lectured. Gradually, his public lectures were also something he assigned as the responsibility of the older disciples, while Prabhupada preached more to the devotees, giving them training so as he went quickly from temple to temple. Now he no longer had to be the pioneer of every new opening in Krishna consciousness. The disciples ranged far and wide all over the globe to open new places based on Srila Prabhupada's credibility and armed with his books. Then, in the last year, he clearly changed his mood of activity and stayed almost entirely in India as his bodily activities diminished. More and more, he moved into his very last departure pastime. He gathered a few devotees near him for intimate personal service and made arrangements for the continuation of the movement after his disappearance. While some of these changes in Prabhupada's behavior over the years are undeniable. Prabhupada had many unchangeable qualities. As he said, there was never a time when I forgot Krishna. Prabhupada also said that he was always the same, even from the first days of his arrival in America. The only difference was that Krishna sent men and money, and with these, Prabhupada transformed the Krishna conscious preaching. Although he personally stayed the same. Srila Prabhupada said, ISKCON may be big, but I am small. He was always a very pure person, the empowered preacher, and the kind well-wisher manifested in different roles as Krishna required. He did not become in any way affected or spoiled by his success. Over the years, Srila Prabhupada began to wear nicer sannyasi clothes, to ride in nicer cars, travel on jets. He accepted millions of dollars on behalf of Krishna, but he remained the same pure servant and used everything for the Lord without any enjoying tendency. Whatever was appropriate and useful for his service, he accepted. He always wanted the whole world to become Krishna conscious, and he was ready to work for it constantly. He was always very sweet and considerate, and he was always in direct touch with Krishna. He always carried his japa beads in a bag and chanted on them, and he always wore kantimala around his neck and tilak on his forehead. He always worked on translating transcendental literatures, such as the Srimad Bhagavatam, rising early in the morning and dictating his Bhaktivedanta purports. He never changed his philosophy the way speculating scientists or Western philosophers, stylish culture heroes, and businessmen adjust theirs with time in order to stay popular. He always gave out the same precious product, the philosophy of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Krishna, exactly as he received it from his spiritual master. George Harrison noted and appreciated this quality in Srila Prabhupada, but he stated he was always just speaking about Krishna, and he was coincidental, and it was coincidental who happened to be there. Whenever you saw him, he would always be the same. It wasn't that one time he would tell you to chant Hare Krishna mantra, and the next time he would say, "Oh no, I made a mistake." He was always the same. We followers of Prabhupada may also carefully learn this art from his Leela, how to keep up with the times and adjust according to time, person, and place, and yet to keep our original Krishna conscious personality intact. Prabhupada's deep, unchanging convictions are miraculous when considering how he didn't change in coming to America. He never changed his basic dress or eating or regulated living, despite advice from swamis, so-called swamis, who told him to do so. Also miraculous was his ability to make dynamic adjustments, which is giving his disciples a japa quota they could actually perform, and his allowing equal rights of initiation to women. All glories to the steady course of Srila Prabhupada's pastime in this world. All glories to his fixed position more dependable than the steady orbit of the sun in the sky. And all glories to his transcendental intelligence in preaching, by which he changed his ways according to the indications of Krishna for the best result in presenting Krishna consciousness to the unwilling conditioned soul. May his Krishna conscious movement continue to reflect these two strengths of change and endurance. I think maybe we'll stop here. Oh, it's the end of the question. There used to be many activities and the momentum was such that it came as a surprise. But it's not. There's a real question, comment. Yeah, the temples were filled. But in the beginning, very beginning, everyone was living in the temple. No one was living outside practically. And as they got married and had to take care of other things in their lives, and then their congregation developed. Before there was no congregation. So that's what's going on. So I think we'll end here for today. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.